Who are the best characters in Another Eden? Who should you pick for your Star Dream encounter? It's David Wowee. How you going? Here are my favorite characters as of May 2025. Shout out to Best Boy for helping bounce some of these ideas around. Obviously, this list is super subjective, and ask anyone who plays this game who the best characters are, and they will have different opinions. For other perspectives, join the discussion on the tier list section of my Discord after this video. And if you're new to the game, don't forget to check out my beginner's guide. It'll help you out plenty. So let's get to the list. When prioritizing characters, I normally prioritize support characters. Why? There's no one team or character you can use in this game that beats all the bosses and content. If you get into fighting this game's most difficult bosses, it becomes more about team building than relying on one or two characters or the same team again and again. A good support character can work with multiple teams and transform some of the most mid damage dealers in your arsenal into crazy damage cap reaching, Goku level insane characters. So keep that in mind. Let's get to the list. At number 10, we have Alma, Another Style. Many people would probably say Alma AS should be at the top of this list. On paper, Alma AS is great. I just personally haven't used her to beat any bosses or clear major content myself, so that's why she's 10. And I'm a lazy player, and you've got to know a few things about Alma AS and have a decent memory, unlike me, to use her properly. But once again, for many, she'd be ranked number 1 or close to number 1. Alma AS is a crystal piercing unit, and she's really good for her counters, and in many battles she can absorb your team's damage and even be invincible through her refraction bullet counter. She can set crystalline stance, restore the team's HP and MP, and on top of that, her brain record skill will change the element of your attacks to your enemy's weakness. If she's Stellar Awakened, she can also give the team Link and Barrier Pierce. But if you're wondering, Alma, Another Style, Stellar Awakening isn't massively important. So if you pull her in a Star Dream encounter, her non-stellar version can still be useful for your team. At number 9, we've got Xianhua. Xianhua used to be my top damage dealer, but the game has since released someone much more broken than her, who we'll talk about shortly. But still, if you watched my streams, Xianhua was the only one who really helped me clear a huge chunk of early main story part 3, including the bosses on master difficulty. Why do I like her? Firstly, she's so much simpler to use compared to a lot of new characters that need a bloody team of specialists to understand. Turn 1, I use Link or Trinity to make her stronger. Turn 2, I use Horizon to destroy the enemy, and then a stellar skill, Tesseract on turn 3 if the enemy's health is below 50%. Because Xianhua is non-elemental, she can work with all kinds of teams. I did a full guide on her, and I've done guides for most of the characters here, so check them out after this. Stellar Awaken her if you want to unleash her true power, but she can still be decent without it. At number 8, we have Mazrika. If you want a support that can help the average character reach the billion damage mark, Mazrika, if set up correctly, can definitely help with that. If you're missing a good water support who can potentially also work well with other element units, consider Mazrika. What's most unique about her is the fact that she can give characters water add-on attacks, but not just normal water add-on attacks, but add-on attacks that have massive damage multipliers. She can also greatly increase the team's power, intelligence, and speed, while at the same time reducing your enemy's power, intelligence, and speed. One thing you should consider with Mazrika is that she's best at supporting single target units, so she may be more useful against super bosses than mobs. The best part is you don't necessarily need to Stellar Awaken Mazrika for her to perform well. At number 7, we've got none other than Yuna. The glow-ups they recently gave Yuna are fantastic. If you've been playing this game for a while, there's a high chance you already have Yuna. True Manifest, Stellar Awaken her, and you've got one of the most useful support, debuff, and resistance shredding characters in the game. She's one of the few units who can revive all party members, but her strongest points are the fact she can reverse your enemy's buffs, decrease your enemy's power intelligence by up to 150, not to mention an up to 100% physical and type resistance reduction. In Yuna's case, getting a true manifest is more important than Stellar Awakening her, as the main debuffs I mentioned can be accessed through her true manifest skills. At number 6, we've got Necoco Extra Style. I've seen a few people now reach the new 10 billion damage cap, and quite often I've seen Necoco ES as the support character that helps make this happen. She's built up, on paper, to be one of the most amazing support characters in the game. She's brilliant in massively increasing the team's damage with most of her skills. On top of that, she can inflict expose on your enemy, can set and awaken a zone multiple times per battle, and she can change the element of your entire team to match the current zone. Her stellar skill, Nekomatsu Starfall, gives her this debuff reversal thing so it can essentially reverse negative stat effects on you and make them positive. The challenge with Necoco ES is that it's expensive to use her best buffs. First, to get the most out of her best skills, you need to activate this thing called Super Necoco mode, which takes 1 turn. Then, when you use just one of her best skills, Super Necoco mode will turn off. And the sucky part is that it takes 3 turns for you to be able to turn Super Necoco mode back on, and then turning it back on will cost you another turn. Do you see how turn heavy this could be? If you're wondering, Stellar Awakening Necoco ES isn't necessary, but it can be useful if you want her to regularly activate a zone, provide barrier pierce, and have a decent attack skill to use during another force. Now let's look at number 5. Who says that in gacha games all characters are bad when you've got someone like Yipha Another Style, who I'm putting at number 5. What makes Yipha Another Style brilliant is that she can make most ordinary damage dealers amazing by just focusing on 2 moves, Faith and Banach Bua. That's it! Just use those 2 skills, no need to learn about complicated stacks and spend hours trying to study the wiki. Check my guide on her if you want more clarification and equipment suggestions. At number 4, continuing this trend of all the characters, we still have the reigning champ, and I've bragged about it for years, and that's Myunfa Alter. Myunfa Alter is an Earth Staff user. She can transform your damage dealer from an okay damage dealer into a multi-billion damage dealing beast. She's a Torn Earth stance setter that has buffs for Earth teams, which is great even for non-Earth teams. In fact, I rarely use her for Earth teams, and the best part is that you don't need to Stellar Awaken her. The fact that she's not power crept is proof that WFS still loves us, and that he can still win this game with older characters. Some of them truly age like fine wine. Not that I encourage alcoholism, don't drink everybody. At number 3, we're gonna keep rolling with older characters, this time with my all-time fave, Iphi. I've spent years bragging about this character, and I'm still bragging about her today. I don't use her as often as I used to, but I still believe in her worth, especially for early game players. What's even better is the fact that you can pull her in a Star Dream encounter as is and don't have to worry about Stellar Awakening her because she's before the whole Stellar Awakening thing. On top of that, she's a global anniversary character. Since they've recently updated EVA, Iphi is next to get a glow up, so if you don't have her OG, now could be the time to get her to prepare her for her next upgrade. What haven't I said about Iphi? Iphi is a biting shade stance setter who, through her skill Rosaliliac, can inflict pain and poison while also significantly weakening your enemy's power, intelligence, speed, and type resistance. Her nocturnal possession skill greatly increases the power, intelligence, and speed of your team while also preventing knockback, which is important against a lot of endgame super bosses. And most importantly, the best part about Iphi is that she can instantly revive knocked out characters. Check my guide for more information. And at number 2, I'd say Thillelille Extra Style. She is a pain setting, high damage dealing sword/crystal unit who has a pretty sick looking EX move. Her skill set can give the team massive buffs while also dealing damage herself. She can set and awaken crystalline stance. You may also want her for a sidekick Moke, who can debuff enemies and even give the team barrier pierce. Veteran players love using Moke as a sidekick who can be great in all kinds of teams. If you're looking for a sweet awakened crystalline stance setting damage dealer plus a sidekick that can work with all sorts of teams, consider getting Thillelille ES right now. However, to get the most of her, you may need to Stellar Awaken her. Before we get to number 1, don't forget to like and sub. It really helps this channel out, and it also increases awareness of this awesome game which more people need to know about. And if you're feeling generous, donate a thanks or become a super member. At number 1, of course, is the game's current broken damage dealer, and it's none other than the crazy powerful Sesta Another Style. If you want to fly through the latest main story content on master difficulty, Sesta Another Style can help you out. What makes her epic? Her Twin Blade Wolf 2 skill, where in one turn activates her most devastating moves one after the other. These moves do a lot, like inflict expose, pain and poison, boost the team's power, intelligence and speed, plus so much more, and deal a ton of damage. Sesta normal style's gimmick is that her Twin Blade Wolf skill only works when she has a pure wind team behind her. That's no longer the case with Sesta Null style. All you need to do is make sure you stack Wolf Heart stack. She instantly has some depending on your level, and you can stack more by moving from the reserves to the front. And if you're considering Sesta AS for your Stardream encounter, you don't necessarily need to Stellar Awaken her. Only do so if you're greedy for even more power. That's it for me. I hope this helped you out. Who are your personal favorites? Do you have any questions? While you're here, check out my other vids. You're gonna love them.